You're watching Unpackaged Goods. I'm your host, Jonathan Dieter. Welcome back. So there's been a ton of M&A news. Unilever's been on a haul. So 2 weeks ago, I said every beauty and wellness brand needs to have their data room ready because Unilever has had $15 billion worth of fresh capital from the McCormick deal to deploy. And a week later, sure enough, they announced the deal with Grüns. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some celebrity brands that have had to restructure. We're going to talk about some fundraisers and some fun brands to try. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our newsletter. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at DeetsEatsNYC. And yeah, let's get it going. So welcome back to Unpackaged Goods. All right, so the headline of the week. Unilever acquires Grüns for $1.2 billion. So I don't want to say I called this 2 weeks ago, but I called it 2 weeks ago. Their first acquisition since merging with McCormick. And in that deal, they pocketed $15 billion in cash. Fresh capital to deploy to beauty and wellness. 2 weeks ago in the Dieter Digest, our newsletter, I wrote, even if 10% of that goes to beauty and wellness, every founder in those categories should have their data room ready. I didn't expect the first check to be this soon, but I'm not surprised it went to a supplement company like Grüns. Grüns, I've heard it pronounced a million different ways, so you're going to hear it a couple different ways on this podcast because I flip-flop. So, all right, let's put my mouse a little bit closer. Let's rip it. Let's roll. So the Grüns story. Chad Janis started this back in his dorm room when he was an MBA student at Stanford. He started in 2023 because he realized that there was not only a white space in the green space, a need for a product that addressed a habit. So he created green supplements in gummy bear format. He scaled it to $300 million in revenue in under 3 years. They ship 10 million gummies a day, and they have over 1 million customers. They have 7,000 retail doors, including Costco, and they were valued at $500 million in their Series B in 2025. And according to them, 95% of their customers used it 4 to 6 times a week. Let me stop on that last stat. 95% usage at 4 to 6 times a week. That's the single most important number in the deal. That number is why Unilever paid $1.2 billion. So why that matters so much? Supplements have a notorious adherence problem. Most people buy a bottle, take it for 2 weeks, forget about it, and it collects dust. You've probably done that before. I know I have. Grüns solved the adherence problem by making it fun in a format that's enjoyable, which for a lot of people is gummy bears. It's nostalgic. It's cute. When 95% of your customers use your product almost every single day, you build a daily habit, not a supplement brand. Daily habits are predictable revenue, and predictable revenue commands premium prices, commands premium valuations. Unilever knows this because they already own the playbook. Let's check out who else they own. Their wellness portfolio includes OLLY, the gummy vitamins, SmartyPants, the premium vitamins, Liquid I.V, a hydration company, which now is over $1 billion in revenue. They have Nutrafol, which is a hair company, and now they add Grüns, a greens and daily wellness company. Every acquisition fills a specific habit slot. Unilever is building the complete wellness cabinet. Every morning ritual, every daily supplement, every functional need. One company. CEO Fernando Fernandez says 2/3 of sales coming from beauty and wellness, and every acquisition is going to build towards that target. Liquid I.V took roughly 7 years to reach a Unilever exit. Grüns did it in 3. They were founded in 2023, hit a $500 million valuation in 2025, and they exited for $1.2 billion. The timeline keeps compressing. So what comes next? Unilever still has roughly $14.5 billion in their war chest, and the white spaces in their portfolio are pretty odd. Sleep supplements, they don't own sleep yet. Gut health, beyond what Grüns already covers. Longevity, a category that IM8 and Novo's Labs are building. Women's health, Perel is in the Unilever Ventures portfolio already. If you're building in any of these categories with real velocity and real repeat purchases, Unilever is your buyer. The roadmap is sitting right in front of you. The lesson for founders. Unilever didn't pay $1.2 billion for just a supplement brand. They paid for a daily habit. Same reason they paid for Liquid I.V, a daily hydration habit. Same reason they paid for Nutrafol, a daily hair health habit. Same reason they paid for OLLY, a daily vitamin habit. Pattern is unmistakable. The format matters as much as the formulation. Gummy bears solved the adherence problem. The pills couldn't. Enjoyability drives consistency. Consistency drives repeat purchases. And repeat purchases drive valuation numbers. Segment 2, Puig and Estée Lauder. So we've talked about this. we're going to talk about it some more because it's going to be a big one. So the founding families of Puig and Estée Lauder met last week to discuss their potential $40 billion merger. According to Reuters, they hope to reach an agreement in the next couple of weeks. So we've been tracking this for a few weeks now. It started as exploratory, then serious conversations. Now the families are at the table. The trajectory is unmistakable. So why this deal makes so much sense? Let's recap. Estée Lauder stock is down nearly 75% over 5 years. At the top, this merger would have been unthinkable. At the bottom, it's the smartest move available. Puig owns Charlotte Tilbury, Baraido, Dr. Barbara Stern, Rabanne. They have the best contemporary prestige portfolio in beauty. And Estée Lauder owns Clinique, MAC, Tom Ford Beauty, La Mer, Bobbi Brown, the legacy prestige portfolio, plus global distribution. Together, they rival L'Oreal across prestige makeup, skincare, and fragrance. So what to watch for this week? The family governance structure is the make or break. Issue. Both families want control. Both families have decades tied to their brands. How they structure shared governance, board seats, voting rights, executive appointments determines whether this deal closes. If they can find a governance structure that both families the deal happens. If either family feels like they're losing control of their legacy, it falls apart. So the mega merger context. This is happening alongside some other big headlines we've seen, like Unilever and McCormick, and the Pernod and Brown-Forman spirits mega merger talk. 3 categories: food, beauty, spirits, all consolidating through mega mergers simultaneously. The era of independent, mid-sized company in any CPG category is ending. You're either building to get acquired or you're building to acquire. There's less and less middle ground. Alrighty, this is a big one. Segment 3. David has been in the headlines for multiple things the last couple of weeks. Now, some positive news, and they're on the end. So the David protein saga just took its biggest turn yet. 3 things happened simultaneously. First, the class action lawsuit was dropped. This was the lawsuit that consumed the internet. The mean girl comparison, the bomb calorimetry, I will still never pronounce that right, the bomb calorimetry debate, Peter Rahal's "no one is getting Regina Georged here" response. It's over. Rahal maintained from the start the testing methodology was, he argued the bomb calorimetry isn't appropriate for products that contain yeast, a fat substitute that the body doesn't digest. The FDA permit different caloric calculations for ingredients like ESG. He argued that bomb calorimetry isn't appropriate for products including EG, a fat substitute that the body doesn't digest. However, the FDA permits different caloric calculations for products including for ingredients like EPG. Dismissal vindicates Rahul's position. The science won, the social media outrage lost. The second big thing that happened, they launched at Costco this week. Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas. Costco is arguably the most validation-heavy retailer in America. Their buyers are notoriously rigorous. The fact that Costco moved forward even while the lawsuit was going on, and now after the dismissal, tells you the retail buyers never lost. If anything, the controversy drove massive awareness. Everyone knows who and what David protein bars are. And third, co-founder Zach Ranen quietly left in February. So he was the former president, and he left to do something new. The timing during the company's most turbulent period raises questions. Ranen was instrumental in building the brand from scratch. When a co-founder and former president leaves during a crisis and immediately starts building something different, there's a deeper story that'll come out. We'll be watching this one close. The broader lesson here, David survived his first real crisis. Lawsuit drop, Costco expanding, brand moves forward. But the co-founder departure is the real long-term signal. But the co-founder departure is the more important long-term signal. What Ranen builds next, what might tell us more about David's future than the Costco launch does. Segment 4, the velocity phenomenon. So we coined this term. We're going to keep talking about it. So Real Actives and Little Spoon. These are 2 stories we got to talk about. So if you're living under a rock, you don't know what Real Actives is. It's Alex Earle's skincare brand. She has been notorious for documenting her struggle with acne and her skin struggles through all of her Get Readies with Me. She's been very open about her struggle with her skincare. And so this makes a lot of sense to launch a skincare focused brand. She's backed by Imaginary Ventures, and they did $1 million in sales in nearly 5 minutes. POV Beauty, another Imaginary Ventures backed brand, did $1 million in 8 minutes. Imaginary Ventures is becoming the factory for creator-led brands. Bureau, POV Beauty, and now Real Active. The acne positioning is personal. She's been open about her skincare journey, and that authenticity can't be manufactured. But the question I always ask with creator launches and celebrity launches is, what happens in month 2, month 3? Trial is easy when you have the most influential Gen Z creator in America. Repeat purchase is everything, as we've been talking. The 1 million in 5 minutes tells you about the audience. The month 6 number tells you about the product. Little Spoon, they're doing 1 million a week at Target in under 6 months. So they just surpassed the weekly 1 million a week target in under 6 months of launching at the retailer. And they did 150 million in D2C before getting into retail. And they expanded into Target with an assortment of 6 new SKUs. This is the more important velocity story because it proves something different. Real Actives proves that creator audiences convert instantly. Little Spoon proves that strong D2C brands can accelerate in retail, not just survive. Little Spoon didn't need Target to find customers. Target needed Little Spoon to attract. When your D2C product already proved the business, retail becomes a velocity multiple. The 2026 Velocity Scorecard. Grüns, 300 million ARR in under 3 years. $500 million valuation and $1.2 billion X. IM8, $100 million in 11 months. Marsman, $100 million in 18 months. Chomps, approaching $900 million. Kilgore MD, $40 million in 1 year. Little Spoon, $1 million a week at Target in 6 months. Real Actives, $1 million in 5. In Shades, $15 million in under a year. Every single one solved a specific daily problem for a specific consumer. Not one tried to be everything to everyone. Segment 5, the habit versus the hype divide. So I want to take 2 stories from this week. I want to juxtapose 2 stories from this week because the contrast is the entire thesis of this newsletter, podcast, whatever you want to call all of this in one frame. So the Grüns exit to Unilever, $1.2 billion exit, 95% repeat usage, 4 to 6 times per week, 10 million gummies shipped daily, 1 million plus customers, daily habit built into consumer routines. Founded in 2023, exited in 2026, under 3 years. And then you have Michael B. Jordan's brand Moss. They're restructuring right now, and the operations are paused. So this is Michael B. Jordan's Sea Moss brand. Had huge celebrity awareness, culturally relevant, star power, and they're hitting pause to figure out what went wrong. Same week, same industry, same general wellness category, opposite outcomes. The difference is always the same. Grüns built a daily habit. Moss built awareness. Grüns has 95% repeat. Moss had a famous founder. Grüns ships 10 million gummies a day because people need them and want them every morning. Moss shipped when people remember it exists. The $1.2 billion gap is the real difference between a product people use and a product people thought about buying. The celebrity CPG scorecard keeps getting more polarized. Segment 6, Target expanding THC into over 70 stores in Minneapolis. So I think this is a category signal worth spending some time on. Target is tripling their THC beverages to 70 plus stores, expanding from 10 stores in Minneapolis to over 70 across Minnesota. Brands include Can, High Seltzer, Wink. When Target triples a test after 6 months, the velocity data spoke very clear. This is how categories go from niche to normal. One retailer commitment at a time. Expect more states as regulations allow. So Good Pop released fruit sours. So sour and candy inspired frozen novelty items are up 137% year-to-date since Fruit Riot launch. Good Pop is launching fruit sours with a patent-pending sour candy coating. At Whole Foods, Target, Wegmans, H-E-B, and Costco in the Bay Area. Frozen aisle is having a functional and experimental moment simultaneously. Oh, I really want to pop this pimple. Pop that pimple. Should we pop the pimple on the pod? I wish I had a live stream. People in the chat being like, do it. Pop the pimple on the stream. How do I start? Do I just start again? So this is big news in the spirits business. MGP Ingredients is pausing whiskey for a year. So 2 Kentucky distilleries are going quiet starting May 1st. The American whiskey category is oversupplied. When producers actively cut supply, the category is in real correction mode. This is the opposite signal that we see from supplements, energy, and protein. These categories are supply constrained from demand. Whiskey is demand constrained from oversupply. The newest cottage cheese brand is here, and they launched at Walmart. So Mulu, they are the highest protein cottage cheese brand apparently, with 18 grams per serving. So the cottage cheese renaissance gets more functional with the new entrant, and they're backed by Dairy Farmers of America. The category standard is 12 to 14 grams. Mulu is 33% higher. That's a meaningful differentiation. Alrighty, segment 7, rapid fire. Let's get it. Funding, launches, and distribution. Let's get into it. So the Botox clinic Peachy, they scored an investment from Stride. That's the firm that has backed Chomps, Tatra. So Peachy has 15 studios. The revenue's up 60%. It's the med spa meets the dry bar playbook. for Botox, and Botox is having a moment. Cadoots raised $3 million in seed funding. Selva's founder is co-founder of the brand. Sold out in 2 hours. Nationwide retailer in 2 months. Singing Pastures is backed by Bullish, the Warby Parker investor. The Warby Parker investor enters meat sticks made with bone broth and collagen. Fruit, F-R-O-O-T, Pops closed $1.5 million pounds in seed funding. And J-U-Z, closed a 7-figure seed round. This German protein soda. So some launches worth noting. Hot Ones, the hot sauce brand, has expanded into barbecue sauce at Walmart, Kroger, H-E-B. Category extension with a brand with built-in cultural relevance. Sprinter, Kylie Jenner's vodka soda drink, has pivoted to a collagen ready-to-drink, or not ready-to-drink, just powder. H2O hydration. Moonbrew launched Sleep Plus creatine. This is interesting. I actually take creatine before I go to sleep. And like some people on the internet say how I find it helps me wake up in the morning. Like I'm ready to fucking go at 6 a.m. Obviously really helps with the muscle stuff, but I get great sleep. That with magnesium. Boing, boing. Alrighty, let's finish this. For Sigmatic and the boys, creatine coffee. Made with lion's mane. Hyundai has a brand refresh and also got an investment from Trey Young. The No Sugar Company launched protein plus creatine bars. Dos Hombres is expanding into tequila. Rode and Justin Bieber had a special Coachella collection. And Dip Tech refreshed their candle brand for the first time since 1963. Couple distribution quick hits. So David is Costco, we already talked about. Espo is at Whole Foods. Mush launched at Starbucks and 7-Eleven. Leoban expanded to a bunch of Target stores, 1,500 to be exact. Bureau's rolling out at Kroger. Habiza is at Albertsons in the Southwest. Clean Logic launched at 6,000 CVS stores. Throne is nationwide at Sheetz. Love Sheetz. We have one of those close to my mom's house. Love Sheetz. We'll do a separate segment on Sheetz. And then GNGR Labs in CVT are store-wide at ShopRite. Alrighty, so that's it. It was a pretty busy week. We'll chop this up. We'll get this out. We might have an interview to add, someone that's announcing a fundraise, so stay tuned. If you haven't yet, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Deets Eats NYC. You can head to our link in bio to find our Substack, which is our newsletter, our podcast. If you're listening here, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, please. It helps us get discovered by other listeners, so I really, really appreciate it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. It means the world to me. It really does. The fact that anyone listens to this means the world to me. So excited. It's Monday. We're kicking the week off strong. We up.